Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly reading. This will be the first weekly reading that I'm going to put on YouTube because I'm having to give up on Instagram videos. You can see that there is a bit of a peaceful theme going on with my setup today, and that is because we've just come off the sort of beautiful creative energy of the Pisces full moon. The moon today is in Aries, which is not the most peaceful moon energy. And we have a few things this week, like creating a little bit of tension. The Saturn-Uranus square is getting close to squeezing us to remind us about the whole theme of 2021 and the intense transformation, the old versus new. What do we keep? What do we change? And that's kind of a revision on that. There's also a bit of a revision with Mercury opposite Jupiter this week, and Mercury's in retrograde. So we've got this kind of revise your thinking, revise your story, revise the way forward. And it's almost like a re-revision because he's already been opposite Jupiter, and now on the retrograde he's opposite again. So it's like the revising the revision. And then, which is a beautiful phrase that I heard an astrologer say about this particular aspect, Jen Zart, which is really makes so much sense to me. And then we also have a Venus-Mars square this week. So it's maybe some old discomfort things showing up again to be reworked. Remember, a lot of the planets are retrograde at the moment. Actually, everything that can retrograde, barring Venus and Mars, is retrograde. So pick your number between 1 and 4, and let's jump in. If you chose card number 1, this is your primary theme, but for all of us, it is the anchor card of this reading, and this is the Knight of Cups, the kind of like the hopeless romantic. So this, for me, brings in that kind of the hangover of the Pisces full moon of just being in flow, being creative. And if you've just kind of had this influx of those feelings over this full moon, how do I live my creative life? How do I have more connection to my community, to my creative soul, to the collective? Then this card is really going to speak strongly to you. And it is a reminder to us as a collective to connect to the collective. And then kind of with the moon in Aries today, Aries is the individual, and Pisces, where we had the full moon, is the collective. So it's this combination between being the drop in the wave or in the ocean, the drop being Aries and the whole ocean being Pisces, and finding the connection, the individuality in the connection. How do you be an individual, creative, romantic soul within the collective? And that's kind of like our theme, which is then going to bring up a bunch of other things. So we've got the Tower, which is not our favorite card. And this for me is very much the Uranus energy this week, and Uranus-Saturn square energy. And you can see the lightning bolts, which is very indicative of this particular card, when something is often sudden change, which is the same theme of Uranus. And in protection, it's kind of that resistance to change, which is in some ways more Saturnian, because Saturn is like a slow turning wheel, slow change. However, Saturn does demand that you put the work in and the effort in to make the change. He just wants it to be slow and steady and traditional and conventional, where Uranus is a bit more freedom-loving, future-oriented, and sudden shifts and changes. So you can just feel into where that is in your life right now. If you've had any like sudden accidents, like you fell or you twisted your ankle suddenly, or you decided to start roller skating for the first time in years and turned out to not be a good plan because you wiped out, those kind of things are very much this card. Then we've got the Nine of Pentacles as our third card. She's also come in the reverse, and I love this card upright because she has all these tools, and she's really at the point of the 9. She's developed a lot of her skills and her ability to, and I just say her because she's a her in the card. Obviously, it's not a gender-specific card, but it's the ability to use what you've learned, to use your tools, And Pentacles is an earth element, so it's the material world around us. You can see the herbs, and you can see candles at the bottom, and her book of notes, her studies, her her learning time. And she's got quite a lovely peaceful, including the dove energy. When it's upside down, we're feeling a little bit of a resistance again in the journey, and perhaps we're not using the tools that we should use. Sometimes, when we're getting to the end of a journey and we can feel that it's the end of a journey, there's a bit of a, oh, I know what's coming and I don't really want this particular thing to end. So we slow it down. And I feel again like it's like, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do this change thing that needs to happen. But this romantic heart is saying that something's got to give, something's got to change. And just to come back to the fact that the Knight of Cups is a more youthful energy, generally more youthful male energy, but it can be the female, and also it can be the inner masculine. So just thinking, where is that in you? And in fact, this card reading does have a strong masculine sort of undertone. So this is my youthful inner masculine self, or a younger male energy in my life kind of thing. So look where that works for you. But this is like the young romantic masculine energy, maybe in your idealized and idealistic self. And then we end the week with the King of Pentacles, which is the wiser, older masculine energy in the sign of Pentacles, which is like, I've worked hard and consistently. He's a bit Saturnian, in fact. I've put in all that effort over time, and so I know the value of how to create what I want for my life. And slow and steady, practical, wise kind of energy. With his, looks more like a wolf than a dog. So the wolf next to him, bringing in almost like how he's tamed the wildness in himself over time. And you can see he's sitting in a study, in a library there, filled with books and all the things that he's learned with time. Whereas he's just kind of more the hopeless romantic who thinks that love is enough to solve every problem. And we've got to find the middle ground in that. So the journey to get from this idealistic young energy to the wise older energy is sometimes a difficult one. Sometimes to kind of grow up, to mature that energy, we have to have some crashes and burns. We have to have some falls. And even though we may well have developed some of the tools that we need along the way to get us to this, there's also sometimes a resistance to lean into those tools, or maybe we need to get a new perspective on the toolkit that we've been using, because we've changed so much that maybe the tools don't work for us in the way that they used to. And how do we shift that around? And again, bearing in mind all of those retrogrades, including Mercury, it's a difficult reflection to decide, how am I going to change this? Then remembering that Mercury is currently in a air sign. He's retrograding through Libra at the moment and will be moving into the very practical Virgo. You can feel that journey. And first we're kind of like in the air. There's all this electricity in the air. What's going to happen? And then we're going to have to go, okay, wait a minute. I do have the skills. I do have the tools. How do I practically implement them into my daily routines? But also not to lose that idealist, that romantic, that Casanova energy in you that wants to just sing the praises of the beauty of the season and falls head over heels in love with everything and everyone. We don't want to lose that entirely, but we can't allow that to lead us through too much illusion. We need to be able to be practically oriented in reality and still be creative and still be romantic and still have that youthful love of life, joie de vie. I mean, he still has it. Look at his face. Look at his joy, his happiness. It's like you can see the young man and the old man in this energy of him, especially when he's upright like this. You can see the magic. He hasn't lost his magic. He hasn't lost his sparkle, but he has the wisdom that comes with time. So I hope this is helpful, and remember to get in touch if you'd like personal readings or support, and thank you for watching.